Hey Coach, this is Coach Vann with Next Play Hoops, and we are back again with our next video book preview. And today we're going to go over the Series Playbook. This playbook has over 1,100 pages in it, with 23 different series and over 750 different counterplays, quick hitters that you can use within each series. If you're familiar with the videos or the books on the continuity motion offense or the secondary break book or video that we did, this is the third step in creating a playbook, or at least that's my third step. I always start with the continuity offense first, pick out what's going to be the best offense for my team and my personnel. Then I go and do the same thing for the secondary break. And then I go to the series. And that's when I pick out what series I want my team to run for that specific season and what's going to best fit my team strengths and my team's personnel. So, if for those who aren't familiar with what a series is not like the continuity offense. A series is either a different alignment or plays that come from the same alignment, I should say, or an action. So like you'll see in our first section here, we have an AI Iverson series, which has an Iverson cut. And that's the action. And that we like to run. So all of these plays have that same action, even though they might come from different alignments. But you can run it from either side of the floor or what have you. But most all the series come from a certain alignment, and they're mostly counters depending on how the defense is playing you. So we'll take a look at the table of contents like we always do, and then I'll kind of walk you through some of the different series, and you'll kind of see what each looks like in the second half of the video, what the descriptions look like and what the frames look like and what the plays look like. So let's go ahead and start here with the table of contents. And you'll notice some of our playbook terminology and vocabulary. You'll get that with the book, so it'll be easy for you to decipher what's what. But again, the first thing we have here is the AI Iverson series. Then we go into our black series. We got the blocker mover series, which Dick Bennett made famous. Tony Bennett won a national championship running the blocker mover offense with Virginia. And we give you almost 100 plays and offenses, and there are a few continuities. I know some of you are going to be like, hey, this was in the continuity offense book. Yeah, we gave you a couple because it can kind of fall into a series as well. So, but I do want to note too that everything that you have in this book is also in our unscoutable book. So the unscoutable playbook is the big dog. And that's the one that has over 4,500 pages in it. And that has the continuity offense. It's got the secondary break. It's got all the series. It's got our zone offense. It's got our baseline and sideline out of bounds. It's got everything in it. So if you've already bought that book, you don't need to buy the series book. But just a heads up on that. But if you're just looking for some different offenses and series and you don't want to spend the money for the unscoutable playbook, then this is definitely your next best option. So then we get into our Boston Flip series, and our Boston series, again, that's our personnel, but basically just to give everybody a heads up, that's just a 4 out, 1 in. That's just the alignment that we use. They're slightly different, and the Boston Flip starts with like a dribble handoff flip pass to start the offense. Excuse me. Then we have our box series, double stack series, our dribble series, which is our weave, our Duke series, which is our double drag, elbow series. If you've got a post player that you want to pressure release play and hit at the elbow, that's a good place to go there. Hawk series, Hubie Brown made that famous in the NBA, although you don't see too much of it at the high school or college level, but we give it to you either way. And horn series, everybody knows that. We got a horns crossback series. That's something I picked up from Brad Stevens and kind of ran with it. The loop and zipper series, Detroit Pistons were famous for running some of that action. Even the Spurs. Then I have a Minnesota series. This is just a quick little series I picked up from Minnesota years ago when they had Kevin Garnett. Pistol series, point series, which is in the Princeton family. Spartan series, also in the Princeton family. Stack series, through series, UCLA series, and our Utah and Spain series is out of the pick and roll. And our wall series is basically just kind of a double double screen, not a double stagger. It's kind of wall. I call it wall because you got two players kind of stuck together that are setting screens for shooters. And it's more something we might run after a timeout or end of the game or something like that. So that's our table of contents. Again, 1,155 pages in this book. And let's go ahead and dive in. Let me give you a quick little look here. Here's our AI, and this is, again, so here's an alignment. This is an AI cut, Iverson cut. Allen Iverson made the same as when he was with the Sixers and with Larry Brown, but 2 comes off a double screen where you got 4 and 5 here. And then typically we make that pass there and then we get into whatever offense we want to do. So whoever's guarding, let's say Iverson here, has got to fight around these 2 picks. So, or go underneath. And if you go underneath, then that can cause some problems. So that's that. But on this play, you can see here, we just used that as a decoy, and then we had 4 pop off the other side. We hit 4, might have a shot or a drive, and this is just an isolation for 4 here. So you can put anybody in that position. You can put your 3 there. I mean, you can get creative with all these plays. Where do you want to put your players in these positions, in these different alignments, is completely up to you and up to your personnel. But again, that's just the AI series. And you'll see here too, like if you look at this one, like our AI Duke, for example, and now our Duke remembers our double stagger. We got an AI action, but this time we're running from the other side of the floor. So, you can do whatever you want. From the right side, the left side, is your player right-handed, or is he left-handed? That's up to you how you want to set that up. But number 1 is going to make the pass here to 2, and then 5 and 4 are just going to sprint into a double drag screen. 5 will roll and 4 will pop, and 2 just attacks off of it. So that is that. And again, these are all our AI actions. Iverson, here's our block series. Here's our blocker mover. And let me give you an example here too. If you notice, everything is color coded in our blocker mover. This is our circle wheel action, which is a continuity offense, but you'll see here our blockers are in red, our movers are in blue. In frame 2, you can see how it goes to positions. And then we walk into frame 3 and 4 here. 1 makes the pass to 2, the blocker moves up, and then 2 will dribble up and come off a flare, so we can either hit 1 or we can pass to 3 coming off the pin down by 5, and you might have a shot out of both of those. Then we'll go into frame 5 and 6. Here's our continuity. We pass the ball to 3, and we continue in the same action in our circle wheel action. Now, an option out of this is 4 can come up and set a ball screen for 3, and we can attack as 2 spaces to the corner, or we can have 4 set the ball screen and then roll, and then we lift 5 up and replace action. So we have roll, replace, which is really effective because X5 has to help out on this roll. And then if you got a stretch 5 or a stretch 4 who can shoot the ball, this is a great option to run out of it. But I just kind of wanted to show you that the detail that we put into each frame, and then each description either describes what is happening in the play, what you should be looking for, different reads that you could be looking for, and then all those different things. So again, all of these plays too you can take these to your practice, you can take them to a game, because they also work on an iPad, on your iPhone, desktop, or laptop. So and they're all printable too. So if you want to bring them to your practice and you're not sure exactly what is going on and you want your assistant coaches to take a look at it, if you get confused in practice, it's always nice to kind of have these on hand just in case, and just kind of just make sure you take a second look at it if necessary. So again, these are all blocker mover. And you'll also notice here too, we give you a ton of different entries, which are like decoy actions to get into your offense, to kind of disguise. So if you keep running the same offense, the defense is going to kind of start to key in on what you're doing. So we like to run a bunch of different entries to confuse the defense and then flow right into our offense. We also give you a couple different baseline and sideline out of bounds within each series that can get you right into some offense or something as well. So here's our Boston flip series. I'll give you a quick look at that. Here's our Carolina 4 flip. We call it Carolina 4 flip because we can also run this out of our Carolina secondary break. And basically 1 just comes down, dribble handoff here, or a pitch pass to 4 and 4 attacks downhill. If he cannot do that, then we'll just go into a dribble handoff with 2. and 2 will look to attack. If we can't score off that, then we'll pass the ball to 1, and then 5 steps up on a step-up screen and then comes off on a roll, pick and roll there. Some of you might recognize that play from the Toronto Raptors. Nick Nurse ran that quite a bit to Pascal Siakam when they won the NBA championship a couple years ago, and it was extremely effective getting Siakam downhill. But this is kind of the counter to it. So option 1, option 2, option 3, we give you 3 different options within one play. So that's our Boston flip series. And here's our Boston series. And our box series, 3.5 pages, all out of a box setup. Again, these are some of the best plays I had seen over the years and had collected from high school coaches, college coaches, NBA coaches, 30 plus years of collecting all these things. Now, here's a play I call Yukon, and I picked this up from Jim Calhoun. I believe it was 2011 when they won the national championship, and they had Kemba Walker. And Kemba Walker in this play was the 2. And if you look at it, it's just a pressure release. We're in a box setup, pass the ball to 5, come off and kind of pinch post action here. As that's happening, we got a pin down. Now, some of you guys will recognize this because this is basically Chicago action now, but back in 2011, there wasn't a whole lot of this going on. And so we got the pin down from 4 for Kemba Walker, who was coming off here, and 5's coming into a dribble handoff. And what was happening was Kemba Walker was getting this DHO, and then that was a wide open shot. That was extremely effective. So he was getting that most of the time. Now, if you don't have that, then you can scroll into a double stagger here for 3. And then you got the pick and slip action here on the post. So you got 2 options here. If you don't have the shot, you actually have 3 options. You got the shot, you don't have that, you got 4 on the slip, or you got 3 coming off the double. So again, this was from Jim Calhoun in Yukon. So we just named it after Yukon. And we also give you some blobs and slobs out of the box setup if you like to run box out of your baseline. Here's our double stack series, dribble series, which is our dribble weave. And then we get into our Duke series, which is all double drag action, or elbow series. These are three pages of plays that get into elbow series. You'll see there's some corner action for all you Rick Adelman fans back in the day that he liked to run that corner offense. You got the Hawk series here. Again, that's a Hubie Brown offense. Horn series, we give you 3 different pages of horns plays. And again, when you're going through these series and you're picking out these plays, you're going to want to at least pick out 4 to 5 to have counters. Sometimes I'll go up and have as many as 10 plays. Then we have horns crossback. Again, this was something that I just kind of added. It's the same thing as horns. You can basically run all your horns plays, but started in a horns crossback, which is, I picked it from Brad Stevens. It's this right here, 4 just kind of comes off. It's kind of like an Iverson action, and then we'll hit 4 here, and then we get into our offense. Here you'll see 4 comes into a dribble handoff and then comes off the back, so we might have that back screen there. And then you can see here, we're reading what X3 is doing here. So we talk about that, like, okay, if X3 is coming in here on the back screen to help, we want to lift 3 up, and we might have that skip pass there, or we can try to get some high-low action there. So, and then if we don't have any of that action, 5 just sprints into a ball screen, roll, lift up from behind so we can hit the roll man, hit the shot. We got 2 shooters on this side, and then we could have a throwback pass to 2. So that's just our horns crossback. That's just one play out of it. Here's our loop zipper action. I guess I can kind of show you this. This is a good pressure release play. I think every coach should have. I actually have a pressure release and entry playbook too, but that you can look at if you're really struggling against teams that are overly aggressive and you need to make a pass, let's say to number 2 here to start our offense. I call this DCU. This play is also in our UCLA because it's a one high 1-4 setup, but I call it DCU for right here. If everybody can see this, dribble entry, circle, which 2 is circling up, which is loop action, whatever, and then U into a Utah. So dribble, circle, pass, and then 4 sets the ball screen, and then we're in our Utah action. So I call it DCU. Now, our pride is our pick and roll and replace, or you can get into a 3 out, 2 in. like our Kansas action, and we can look for high-low action. So there's a multitude of things that you can run just out of this DCU action, but we give you tons of DCU action. Again, if your wings are being denied, you're having a tough time making the pass, then you're going to want to have dribble entry plays, so that way your offense doesn't become stagnant and you're completely out of what you wanted to do in the first place just because you can't make an entry pass to the wing. So those are great. It's a great series that you can add. Here's our Minnesota series, our pistol series. Here's our point series in the Princeton family, and we got point away, we got point over action, and again our Spartan series. We give you a couple continuities in it, but you got chin action here, but you also have it's in the Princeton family, just a ton of different plays to choose from. And then here's our stack series. And then we give you a through series, which is just basically a pass by the point guard, and the point guard is going to cut through. So if you have a point guard that, you can't, the defense is putting a lot of pressure on him and you want to kind of free him up and get him into some surprise pick and roll situations, you might want to do something like this. Let me just kind of look at this one here. 21 through swing 3. Let's say number 1 does a dribble handoff with 2, and see how we have 1 cut all the way through, and then we swing the ball back to 1. Then we're going to get into action. Then we got the UCLA back screen here, and then 4 is going to sprint into a ball screen. So basically all we did is we gave the ball to 1 to 2, had 1 cut all the way through, and then got the ball back to 1. So now 1 can attack in a surprise situation. So we're making 1's defender have to work a little bit more, and we're taking the pressure off our point guard. So that's what our through series is. Tons of different plays there, and over 2 pages in UCLA. I love UCLA action. It opens up the lane. I usually always have 7 to 8 different plays in my UCLA series, all very similar with small minor tweaks. Here's our Utah series. Again, this is our pick and roll action. We give you a ton of pick and rolls. I mean, over 3.5, almost 4 pages of just pick and rolls, whether it's from the wing, the top of the key, wherever, pick and roll and replays, reads that you're going to be making out of it. Tons of Utah and pick and roll action here out of different alignments. Pick and rolls that we get into out of our sideline or baseline out of bounds. And then we go into our Spain series. And then here's our wall series. This is something I like to run every now and then. See, 4 and 5 is the wall. 1 comes off that, looks to attack. And then 4 and 5 is immediately going to go and get a double for 3. And then we have a third wall where 5 and 4 is then going to go get 2 for a throwback pass. So typically we always get either 1's going to get a shot, 3 is going to get a shot, 2 is going to get a shot. Somebody's going to get a shot. And if they're cheating the screen, we can always slip. So the inside guy always has that option to slip if they cheat it. So that's our wall action. And then we give you quite a few different plays out of wall as well. So again, 1,156 pages in the series playbook. And again, 23 different series for you to choose from, 750 counter plays and quick hitters to choose from. And again, when you pick a series, you're going to want to fit it to your personnel and your team's strengths. And but if you have any questions, feel free to email me at Coach Vann at nextplayhoops.com. And if you want to take a look at anything specific, we can do that. We can schedule a Zoom call. We can go over. I can share my screen with you, and we can go over any playbook that you want to see. But again, Coach Vann at nextplayhoops.com, and we'll see you.